All right, Nick, let's talk about the Colorado Buffs football program here for just a minute. Deion Sanders came in, making a lot of noise, getting a lot of highly touted transfers, and there is potential for to add to that here, Nick, in the coming days and weeks. And we have a story on all of that here in just a moment. But Colorado fans, you've got a lot of transfers come in, a lot of guys come in through the transfer portal, whether it's recruits or anything like that. We just got to know, who do you think is going to be the most impactful to this program? Obviously, I think any addition to this program is going to make a huge impact. Looking at just how the program was last year, it's only up from there. But just let us know in the comments below, who do you think is going to be the most impactful to this program? But Nick, what do you got on the Buffs?
So Deion Sanders, when he came in, he promised to deliver. He said he was bringing his luggage, talking about talent. He said it was Gucci, and he's delivered on that. He's been very successful, to your point, Mize, in the transfer portal. They've nailed down some big recruits for this class, but it's not just a short-term thing. Deion has been very clear that he's looking to build a long-term program, and he's taking all the steps to do it, and they're getting a lot of proof that it's working. So Outkick.com monitored who was going, who was committed, and said they were going to the Colorado Buffs Junior Day. That's just kind of a sort of mini camp where Colorado and other schools do the same thing. Of course, they bring in recruits to kind of get their first glimpses of the coaches, meet face to face, do some workouts, things like that. Kind of the early stages of recruiting as they look to wrap up this year and focus on next year's recruiting. But if you look at the talent that is committed to Colorado's Junior Day, it is absolutely staggering. So Colorado, and again, it's according to Outkick.com, had 2 5-star recruits show up to their Junior Day, 16 4-star recruits commit to going to their Junior Day. And it's not just, if you look at just those stars, it just doesn't tell the whole story. They have the number 3 wide receiver in 2024, the number 4 edge defender, the number 1 running back, the number 1 offensive tackle, the number 3 safety, the number 9 athlete, the number 4 corner. This is, of course, looking out the 2024-2025 horizon, and a bunch of other guys from there. So, Mize, to me, this is an indicator that the Deion Sanders effect, this is not just a transfer one-time thing. This isn't a novelty thing where he's bringing his guys from Jackson State or some guys he recruited when he was at Jackson State in the South. He's bringing them up to Colorado. To me, this proves there's some staying power here and that Deion continues to deliver on his promises when he took over this program. Give me your thoughts on just this crazy list of talent coming in early in the Colorado recruiting cycle and everything Deion Sanders has done for this program.
Yeah, I'd say it's incredible, but it's what we expected. Dion's a master recruiter. He can build a lot of hype around the program, and he can get guys to come in and want to play for him, Nick. And as you said, he's got guys from 2024, 2025, 2026 class coming into this elite underclassmen event that they're holding. A lot of guys talking, coming in, and these are some of the best players around the country, and they're looking at coming to Colorado, a program that nobody really ever would think about going to. I can't even think of really too many NFL athletes who played at Colorado. Only one comes to mind, that's Jimmy Smith, and I only know that because I follow the Ravens. But Deion is really delivering, and I think Colorado fans should be pretty happy about that so far, because just early on in his time at Colorado, he has put them in the national media. Everyone is watching. Who kept an eye on Colorado until now? Every day, we're keeping an eye on Colorado. Everyone in the college football world is like, I wonder what's going to go on at Colorado. And that's just kind of the Deion Sanders effect, that he's going to give you national notoriety, bring in some of the best recruits, and he can really turn a program around just like that.
And it's not just Sanders. Obviously, he's doing a great job. It's the infrastructure he's built, because obviously, just by his personality, his leadership, and his history, right, he has the ability to draw the cameras and the people and just the whole thing when it comes to Deion, right? But the fact he's able to set up these camps and bring in these recruits and coordinate, building a deep recruiting staff, obviously, this is not a guy in Sanders who's spent his entire career in coaching. He's not super well versed in the ins and outs of building up a staff, recruiting coordinators, how that works and things like that. And despite that lack of experience, he's done one heck of a job building that infrastructure, or at least revitalizing the existing infrastructure that existed in Boulder, Colorado. And I think that's why you see these guys coming in. Because I tell you this, when I was recruited, granted, I was a small time time recruit, nothing like some of these guys. There were some schools that would reach out to you, and you could tell that they just weren't up to snuff, right? They weren't on top of their game. They didn't really respond to emails, or they gave you random phone calls, some random texts, some random letters that just seemed to show out of nowhere. There's some schools that were on top of their game. They had a lot of events that were very well organized. And for Deion Sanders to come into a program for what, 8 weeks now, and just completely revitalize not just the theme of the program, the energy behind the program, but the actual infrastructure, the roster building of the recruiting game, the way he's done it here with the coordinators and the assistants and the support staff to put this kind of thing together is really remarkable. And it shows he's more than a showman. It's more than he's a football guy. He's a true like manager too, the way he's handling it. And that's a great sign for Colorado going forward. Because if you look at the best coaches in college football, it's the guys who can manage programs. You look at Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, obviously Dabo Swinney, obviously great examples of that. And Deion Sanders looks like he's falling right in that kind of mold. And it shows that Colorado Buffaloes are going to be contender, not just in the short term, but in the long term as well.